So here's our stringer. They're all dry out of the basement now. You can see I kind of dadoed it right there for that lip that I was talking about. Not that big of a deal for fill wise. The important thing is that these things fall right into place. And then as we came up here, we had to change our angle. So right there, went to about 45. So like I was saying, I was going to PL these, but on my Hurston, they were flat. On this one, our angle changes. Right in there, you can see it starts getting real steep. Now to do that without a high-end equipment and all that, this is basically all designed for you guys to do this at home. We just use a skill saw. That dado runs all the way up. You can see I had a couple of high spots, so I burnt that down, but all the way up in there, you see that? Goes up, and now this is important. Watch how this thing drops in here. Pretty much right into place. All the way back. Everything's flush. Now, the reason I'm going to use peanut butter instead of PL is, actually, it's really not that bad. Pretty freaking good. So you can see there's a tiny bit of a gap. Now, these boats, as you can see, this one here, that's where the stringer was, that's where the stringer was, that's where the stringer was, never touched any here. Now, I don't particularly like that because if a log hits there underneath that stringer, especially in this case, there's 1/16 of an inch, probably a 1/4 inch there. That's a major weak spot underneath there. So if I had these totally flush, I mean, they're pretty freaking good. If I had these totally flush in there, I'd probably PL it. But given all the different angles and stuff that we got changing on going in here, and I got a bit of a gap up there where I had to make the 45 on the saw for the angle, I'm going to do a big whopper smudging mess of peanut butter, probably with minimal catalyst so I got time to work it. And then I'm going to drop these in here, and as I drop them in here and step on them, like they're totally loose in here, you can see that peanut butter is going to pour out of here and pour out of there, down there. And then I'll be able to take my spoon, just a plastic spoon, and you just run it down just like you're tooling caulking, and I'll get my perfect radius. Something that I thought was kind of funny and disappointing too at the same time. Look right here. See this? That's where they laid up the stringer, and then rather than filleting it, you guys probably see me filleting here pretty quick, they just did a circle up there. That's number one weak spot. As soon as you got an air bubble in there, you pretty much cut the strength of that fiberglass in half. In fact, when I was breaking this apart, I'm amazed that it's all the way up here. You can see it. I was amazed that that didn't just snap off, because when I took these ones off, this just broke real easy. But yeah, there's how to lay your stringers in. I was going to flood coat these tonight. They just came out of the basement, and of course I pulled them out of the basement and it started raining and snowing. So they'll go back into the basement, and then if the weather's any good tomorrow when I get off work, we'll put them in the boat here and we'll flood coat them, get the heater on them. It's actually warming up. It's probably 8 or 9 degrees now. But I mean, this is the weather up here. It's like there's blue sky right through those trees and sun, and then the snow cloud that just left. So the weather up here is about as reliable as a 78 Pinto. So you kind of got to work with it. I'm sure it's no different everywhere you guys are. Again, if it's over 10, you can fiberglass without heat. Watch it as the sun goes down. And yeah, the more precision that you do getting these things in before you do any fiberglass, you're going to save a mile of resin and a mile of work. Peanut butter will eat through resin like crazy. Like just this one stringer, I'm guessing I'm going to go, I would say 3 liters to bed that one stringer in there. But that guarantees me no air bubbles underneath, absolute perfect bondage, and it'll also squirt enough out the sides that it'll fill all these little voids here where I had to transition from 30 to 45. So that'll get filled in and be enough for me to run my spoon down there and give me the perfect radius so that when we do our lay up in there and put our tabs on. There'll be no pissing around. Like I said, if you have a 90 in there, 90 degrees, it ain't gonna work. I mean, it will, but it'll just be a mess. You'll be chasing air out of it. You get those nice radiuses in there, and you can just take your roller and your air roller and just chase the air out. You're not pissing around. Really important. Get your cuts right. Take the time to do it. I think you probably have an hour total in this stringer. I mean, if it takes you all day to do one stringer, you're going to save probably 5 liters in resin and 2.5 hours of grinding per stringer. I can guarantee you that. Okay, guys, have a good night. That's it for tonight. Don't know when you're going to see this because the internet's so bogged down, but take care. Have a good weekend if we don't see you before then.